They say nice guys always finish last, right? But what if putting others first was the real path to your prosperity? What if the key to success was giving more than what you get? You unlock this art of selfless giving, and in a world that's often so focused on the self-interest, this art of selfless giving, it can have such an amazing impact on your life and the lives of those around you. And so what if the true key to your success, to your fulfillment, is not what you receive or the money you have or how much time, but it's what you actually are able to give to others? Are you tired of maybe having transactional relationships that leave you feeling empty? Or do you feel like you want to make a real difference in the world but don't know where to start? Are you looking for ways that you can stand out in your business and create deeper connections, or ways that you can stand out in your personal life and have these deeper connections? If you've asked yourself these questions ever, then you are in the right place, because in this video, I want to explore these kind of 5 principles of selfless giving that are going to help really transform your approach to business and transform your life. Now, these aren't abstract ideas. They're actually pretty practical strategies that you can use in your relationships that will update and change and revolutionize your relationships, both in business and in your personal life. Now, my name is Jake Talbert. I'm the founder and chief giver over at the GIVER Method. If you're new here, welcome. The GIVER Method is all about this idea of helping people to identify what their gifts and superpowers are, so they can then identify the right people to influence with them, and then to create value for them without asking for anything in return, which is a lot of what today's topic will be, so that each engagement, interaction, discussion is as effective as humanly possible. And the outcomes are that you are able to step into who it is that you are meant to be. You're able to make a greater impact in the world. You're able to get what we call relationship riches, which is those deeper, more meaningful connections. And what I've found is that people who give their superpowers without asking for anything in return, that the universe has a way of paying them back. Now, it's not every single time, and it's not automatic, but time and time again when I work with individuals, that's how it's going to work. So today, let's dive into this topic that is really going to have such an amazing impact on both your personal and professional life, the art of selfless giving. Now, of course, before we dive in, make sure, of course, if you haven't already, like this video, follow the channel, subscribe, of course, ring the bell for notifications, all of those sort of things. You can also find us on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, or by going to thegivermethod.com. Naturally, the more that you're able to support us in these other places, to like it, to comment, anything like that, it helps us to create an even more positive impact and ripple effect than we're able to do just on our own. So please take the time, go ahead and do that. Now, let's unlock what these ideas are, these secrets or principles or whatever of the art of selfless giving, okay? So number 1 is going to be shifting from a scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset. And so that first step is mastering the art, the first step in mastering this art of selfless giving is to really shift from this idea of scarcity mindset to abundance mindset. Many of us operate in a scarcity mindset. We believe that there aren't enough opportunities or resources or success to go around for everyone. Now, this mindset breeds competition and it breeds withholding information. But when you shift to more of an abundance mindset, that there's opportunity all around us, you begin to see that there's plenty for everyone, and that giving actually creates more for all of us. I remember a while back, before I really started implementing the GIVER method into for myself, especially for our business that I run, I was kind of hesitant to give out knowledge freely. And I know that a lot of our past coaches that I had on our team, they were hesitant, like they wouldn't give it because we thought it was what made us special, it was our secret sauce, it gave us our competitive edge. Now, as I began to work through everything and start to just give without expectation, provide details, information, things that I've been holding so true for so long, I saw that my network began to grow. The opportunities expanded exponentially. It's been insane that some of our greatest lead sources of conversion of clients come from us just giving of information freely to others. So I highly recommend that you look into that. Now, I'm going to give you an action step here. For every principle, anytime I do a video, I always give action steps behind each principle. I recommend you get a piece of paper, open up a note, whatever it may be, write down the details of what the action step is, because I believe that if you were to take it and start doing that today, this week, this month, you're going to automatically start to see the change in yourself and the impact you're able to make through the art of selfless giving. Okay, so this action step is for 1 week, like the next week. Make a daily list of 3 ways that you can give without expecting anything in return. It could be sharing knowledge. It could be offering help of some kind. It could be just simple compliments. And notice how the practice is going to affect your overall outlook and willingness to share. Now, this is also where you want to bring in your unique gifts, superpowers, whatever that may be. You can find ways to use them more and more. And one thing that's very difficult for business owners is oftentimes when I ask them what their gifts and superpowers are, they say whatever it may be. And I'm like, great, well, that explains why you do what you do, why you're a coach, why you help people do this thing, why you offer this service. And I say, well, how can you use that superpower outside of what you do for your clients? And it breaks their brains for a second. I don't know if you've ever felt that way. The other one is when I say, great, well, that's one superpower. What superpowers do you have in your life that you can influence and impact people who aren't clients, that has nothing to do with what you do for work? And they struggle with that as well. So I'd say find those ways with your gifts and superpowers that you can make that impact that goes beyond just what your business does, because it's really easy to associate it with what the business does. Now, remember, the goal isn't just to give, but to give in a way that aligns with your unique talents and passions. So this is how you're going to really create the most value and fulfillment in your giving. Okay, so principle number 2 we're going to dive into is all about creating value through authenticity. And so this world that we live in, there's so much noise. There's so many distractions. And so authenticity truly stands out when people see it. When you give from a place of genuine care and use your gifts and superpowers to do that, we create value that just can't be replicated. Each of us has unique skills and gifts and superpowers to create value for others. There is no person that has the same combination of programming, talent, skills, gifts, superpowers that you do. So you are the only person that can help people truly in the way that you are able to. And that's a part of being able to step into who it is you're meant to be and make that greater impact. So pay attention to that and use yours in the unique way that you can. So the action step here is going to be to identify your skill or knowledge area or gift or superpower, and then go create some sort of a guide or a tutorial on the topic. Share with your network and your social media or whatever. You can find all sorts of ways to do this. Now, you want to pay attention, though, as you do this, to the responses and the connections that emerge from this just act of giving and just providing value to others. So you could look at it in all sorts of ways with using your superpowers, but the key is that you find a way to give that's true, in a way that's true to you and to who you are and your purpose and your values and everything. From my own personal story, I already mentioned it earlier that through my day-to-day business that I run, I used what I have in my gifts, superpowers of being able to systematically think and strategically think through complex processes. And I created different resources that I put on different pages, videos, workflow guides for small business owners and entrepreneurs to use. Now, not only did it help tons of entrepreneurs, but also led to all sorts of opportunities where people bubble up out of the woodworks wanting to know how it is that they can work with us without me ever having to pitch to them or sell to them in any way, just because of how we showed up authentically to deliver that value to them. That's the power of authentic giving. Now, principle number 3, you need to build trust through generosity. Now, naturally, anytime you're trying to create deeper, more meaningful relationships, trust is going to be so important as a part of that. It's the foundation of all strong relationships. Doesn't matter if that's personal or professional. And one of the most powerful ways that we can build trust is just to be consistent and showing up in the same way every single time. And part of that is showing up with selfless generosity. In business, this might look like, offering helpful insights in meetings, sharing contacts that could benefit for someone else. Like I said, I intentionally go into certain Facebook groups or communities or whatever just to give value. And I never pitch to anybody, but when they reach out and say, hey, I'd like to know more how you could help me in my business, I gladly give them that information. So your action step here is in the next few days, any meetings you have or personal interactions you have, focus on how you can add value into the other person's life or the work that they're doing. It could be offering insights, it could be making valuable introductions to somebody else, or it could be simply being a supportive listener, or giving in a way with your superpower that's going to help lift them up and benefit them. And then reflect on how this approach impacts the quality of the relationship that you may have. Once again, I always recommend the more that you do with your superpower and gifts as a part of that, the better off you are. Now, one of the other things that you could do, it's a habit that I try to do, is like at the end of every call, every client meeting that I have, I'm always like, hey, is there any other way that we can support you? Like outside of what we're talking about right now. And that's such a simple question, but when you give genuine follow through, like it's led to deeper client relationships and countless referrals, and people asking me for things that I'm like, well, I don't know, but let's go find it, or let's go find the person who's the right person to help you with that. Principle number 4 is about embracing the vulnerability that comes with giving, because often, like if you're truly going to be giving, it requires you to be vulnerable. It means opening ourselves up and sharing our experiences, which includes our failures, our struggles. It's being more willing to give even when it might feel uncomfortable. Like when you're open about struggles or failures, like you give others permission to do the same. So an action step here could be to share a story or a struggle or failure with a friend or a colleague. Focus on the lessons learned, and by giving others insights into your vulnerabilities, you create space for deeper connections and mutual support. Now, I actually attended an event this last week where they had a bunch of speakers on stage, and they're speakers that everyone in the crowd, 1,200 people who are there, they know who these people are, and they know that they're top of their game in their specific industry for social content, for YouTube ads, for coaching and such. Like you name it, they are at the top of their fields, and every one of them got up there and told the story about how they changed their story, which changed their destiny. And part of changing their story was talking about the hard things that hit them, the failures, the struggles that they had. And every single one of them I know, and I do different mastermind groups with. And after each one of them, I told them, man, I feel so much closer to you now, simply because you shared so openly with what you talked about, your struggles, and then identified the ways that you could help others. So remember that sharing, it might feel risky, but it's going to lead to more genuine conversations and connections that are going to last for years and years. Vulnerability in giving creates authenticity that people are just drawn to. It creates a magnet for you. Principle number 5, you need to think about this idea of long-term, like how do you cultivate long-term reciprocity? While selfless giving means giving without expecting anything in return, the beautiful paradox that comes with that is often it leads to unexpected benefits of reciprocity in the long run. Like I mentioned, the universe finds ways of paying you back. So the ripple effect of selfless giving, it often leads towards long-term relationships and mutual support that happens. So something you could do here, an action step, would be to start a generosity journal where you record acts of giving that were unexpected benefits that come your way. After a month, reflect on the ways that your generosity has created a ripple effect and positive impact in your life and your work. You could do this in all sorts of ways. I've seen how small acts in my own journey, how small acts of giving have led to major opportunities months or even years later. The key is to give consistently and authentically, trusting that the impact it's going to unfold over time. Once again, it's easy to see and think, gosh, the universe has this way of paying people back. And so it's so important. That's why the GIVER method, like we talked about, identifying your gifts and superpowers. The I is for influence, and the people you can have with proper influence impact on, that's super intentional. Creating vivid value so clear to them without asking for anything in return, and that each engagement is as effective and engaging and eager as possible. So as you implement these principles, it's important to remember that, it's GIVER method, like it's not just a business strategy or a life hack or a one-time thing. It really is a holistic approach to creating value and fostering meaningful connections for you. Encourage yourself to identify what your gifts and superpowers are, and it could be all sorts of things. You may be great at simplifying complex ideas down. That's a superpower for teaching and sharing knowledge. Or perhaps you're exceptionally patient or great at listening. Well, perfect. Then you can go mentor others. So use your team meetings, use family gatherings to discuss how you can collectively use your gifts to make a difference amongst others that you may be connected with. Now, this not only reinforces the importance of giving, but also strengthens your relationships and culture. Remember that the goal isn't about giving perfectly. It never can be. But it's about authenticity, and it's about consistency. It's about creating more of a lifestyle of generosity that follows your unique gifts and talents and passions and superpowers and the vision, purpose of what you're trying to accomplish, the impact you're truly trying to make. Mastering this art of selfless giving, like, it is truly a journey that will transform, whether you're transforming your business or your personal life. It's about that abundance mindset and authenticity and building trust